Tank carries the power. He's sneaky. Explosive.
Traps, and he's got ridiculous one-punch knockout power, too. He's just such an interesting fighter because his style is so different from everybody else. He's so conservative in the early rounds, throws so few punches, and he lets you work. He lets you work, and you're backing up, and you're always afraid of that power, and he's just moving in, trying to find that opening where he just gets in there on you.
Nah, I'm not shocked. I mean, his last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul, so I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me, so.
Joe Rogan has never been shy about giving his honest take on boxing, and ahead of Jake Paul's potential clash with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, the UFC commentator had a clear message. This fight could end badly for Jake. On his podcast, Rogan explained that stepping into the ring with a proven knockout artist like Tank Davis is an entirely different world compared to the opponents Paul has faced so far. While Rogan acknowledged Paul's dedication to training and his steady improvement as a legitimate boxer,
boxing has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta "Tank" Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
He warned that Davis's combination of speed, explosive power, and high-level ring IQ could quickly expose Jake's weaknesses. Rogan stressed that this is not just another celebrity boxing event. It's a dangerous matchup against one of the deadliest finishers in the sport. For years, Rogan has praised Davis's punching power, often comparing him to a small Mike Tyson, because of the way he generates fight-ending shots from such a compact frame.
I am a Gervonta fan. I think that guy's so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and his patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Leo Santa Cruz fight was really something for me because Leo Santa Cruz is a technician. He's great, Mexican style, but he's also a technician. And that fight was very close before Tank stopped him.
Yeah.
But he has that power that can end it.
Well, he finds these openings and he sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient.
Right.
Like when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option that if he can fucking crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence in that. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it. Where it's just like the technique is so dialed in.
Yeah.
There's guys that like Gervonta Davis is like that. Their technique's so dialed in that when you watch them uncork, it's like, oh my God, the efficiency of it. And so I was just a giant fan of the guy. I just loved as a person who really enjoyed technique. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it.
He and fellow comedian Ali Sadiq even broke down Davis's knockout of Ryan Garcia, pointing out how Tank's timing, aggression, and deceptive strength make him a nightmare opponent. Rogan admitted that Davis doesn't even look like a physical powerhouse at first glance, which only makes his ability to drop fighters with a single shot even more frightening. At the same time, Rogan has given Jake Paul plenty of credit for carving out his own lane in boxing. He called Paul's ability to turn celebrity clout into big money paydays genius.
But is this Logan Paul? Is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight. He knows how to fight. Nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, highly promotable, really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special. If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, if he wasn't this YouTube guy, he was just a boxer, and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that. You'd be like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's fucking for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
And admitted that Jake has proven himself more than just a YouTuber. With a growing skill set, improving ring IQ, and a knack for promoting himself, Paul has kept his name relevant in boxing circles. Still, Rogan made it clear that when it comes to facing an elite, battle-tested professional like Davis, Paul is entering very dangerous territory. One of the biggest storylines around this matchup is the stark size difference. Jake Paul, standing 6'1", and weighing around 100.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis is official. A lightweight takes on a heavyweight, a bit insane, a big size difference, but also a speed difference. I want to talk about this fight, my picks and predictions for how it's going to play out, and basically just let's run it. So the only combat sports fight I can think of off the top of my head that was similar in the size disparity is Buckley versus Rizabuyov. Now look at these guys. Buckley is 5'6", I believe 5'7". Rizabuyov is 6'5". It just looks ridiculous. And Jake Paul, it says 6'1", but I think he's more like 6'2". He's a big fucking dude. 76-inch reach. Well, Gervonta's only 5'5", with a 9-inch reach disadvantage on Jake Paul. 9-inch reach. You're having a laugh, bud. But she's not all about size, boys. As Buckley showed against Rizabuyov, speed is a factor, and these little guys can move. Buckley actually won this fight on points. A lot of jabs to the body, overhand right, on repeat. Rinse and repeat, use your speed, get out of range. When you're in range, you're hitting the body, hitting up top. When you're out of range, you're just moving around, keeping the big man moving. And I do see this going a similar way. Now, I'm not a Jake Paul hater by any means. I actually think he's pretty decent. But just the size difference, I mean, he weighs almost 100 pounds more than Gervonta. I mean, he is going to be a lot slower. And Jake isn't the most explosive and the quickest guy. I mean, like I said, I'm no Jake Paul hater. I actually think he's pretty good. He's got power, a lot of power, but he's just not that quick. And Gervonta is very fucking quick. Now, there is no way in the world Gervonta Davis finishes Jake Paul. You cannot pay me enough on that pick. But Gervonta Davis on points, I think is basically signed, sealed, delivered. It's going to be jab to the body, move, jab to the body and move. And jab to the body again and move. That's all it's going to be. So if you're paying for this fight, I mean, I think it's on Netflix, so most of us should be locked and loaded. But if you're going to any way to pay for this one, don't even bother. It's going to be boring as fuck. It's going to be Gervonta jabbing the body and Jake Paul missing overhands. That's what this fight's going to be. And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be 120 to 100 in favor of the little man. 5'5", 63-inch reach, Gervonta Tank Davis.
99 LOBs, usually competes in the cruiserweight division. Gervonta Davis, on the other hand, is just 5'5" and fights at lightweight, around 135 LOBAs. The proposed fight would see Paul dropping slightly in weight, while Davis would need to bulk up nearly 60 LOBs just to get close. Critics argue that this creates not only questions of fairness, but also safety. Despite those concerns, both men appear ready to move forward, with Netflix reportedly streaming the fight worldwide. But while Jake's risk is physical, many argue that for Tank Davis, the risk is reputational. A loss to Paul, who despite his 12-1 record is still relatively inexperienced compared to world champions, could tarnish his credibility among hardcore boxing fans. On the flip side, a win for Jake would be career-defining, giving him massive exposure and legitimacy overnight. Fellow fighters like Ryan Garcia have mocked the matchup, calling it more of a circus than...
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? there's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks
the answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion, multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris LJ, the champ, even you, Jim, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing. And I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, mind you?
All right, so it looks like it's official that Jake Paul is going to be fighting Tank Davis. So pretty crazy considering Jake Paul is 6'1", 220 walking around, and Tank Davis is 5'5", and I think he's 140 walking around. So we're talking about 80-pound weight difference and then 8 inches of height. Everyone's been telling Jake Paul that he needs to fight real fighters in their prime. And Gervonta Tank Davis is in his prime and one of the best fighters out there, but this is just ridiculous.
Real boxing, warning that the sport is moving towards spectacle over competition. Rogan himself has raised doubts about Jake's career decisions, even pointing to the delay of a rumored fight with Anthony Joshua until 2026. He joked about Jake possibly juicing and suggested the postponement seemed strange since both fighters appeared ready. To Rogan, it hinted at underlying motives rather than true preparation. Despite Paul's height, reach, and weight advantage, most boxing analysts lean heavily toward Tank Davis. Former world champion Sean Porter flat out predicted a knockout victory for Tank, while other insiders pointed to Davis's speed, precision, and ruthless finishing instinct as more than enough to overcome the size gap. For them, Jake's physical advantages won't matter against Tank's world-class skills and mentality. In the end, the fight has split opinions in the boxing world. Some see it